Hello everyone. Welcome to my YNR 24 spoilers. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Holden manipulates Claire while Kyle and Sienna fight. According to spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Kyle Abbott and Sienna Bacall are about to cross paths in Los Angeles. Let's explore the intriguing plot lines that are currently merging among the many that are currently occurring on the West Coast. LA contains half of Genoa City. Claire Newman and Holden Novak traveled to Los Angeles for both business and fun. Claire needs some time apart from Kyle, but his response was to follow her across the country, give her some flowers, and make her feel guilty. Although Kyle is trying to get Claire back, she did not appreciate his ham-fisted effort. Claire explained why she is enjoying herself with Holden rather than him, but he doesn't understand. The pushy behavior of Kyle is uncomfortable. Holden and Claire were informed by Kyle that he will remain in Los Angeles for his meetings. He is actually spying on his girlfriend and her pal. Fans will be able to see Holden and Sienna sharing a passionate moment together throughout the week of October 20th to 24th. He then tries to alert Claire to the fact that Holden is seeing someone else, but Claire has already met Sienna. Despite Claire's defense of Holden, she might begin to question his sincerity. Kyle enters alert mode. Instead of reprimanding Kyle for confronting her, Sienna might advise him to back off and butt out. In GC, Kyle is a legend, but in LA he is nothing. We believe that steely Sienna will put Kyle in his proper place and fight back against his loudness. What takes place next? Kyle is in Los Angeles to assist Claire and get information about Holden and Audra Charles. However, we have a suspicion that he will also become involved in the ongoing Noah Newman story. Before everything is said and done, Kyle and Sienna get entangled in a way that nobody anticipated, according to sexy spoilers for The Young and the Restless. Keep checking back for news and updates on this exciting mystery that is happening outside of GC, as the plot is still evolving. After Holden's espionage is revealed, are Kyle and Sienna headed for a collision? According to teasers and updates for The Young and the Restless, Kyle Abbott and Sienna Bacall are going to fight. Let's explore the drama that will unfold in Los Angeles, as an interrogation is imminent following some spy antics involving Holden Novak. Claire didn't bite Kyle when he followed her to Los Angeles for a dubious reunion. Fans of YNR will recall Kyle's trip to Los Angeles in an attempt to convince Claire Newman to change their mind about their future together. Although Kyle wanted to win Claire back, it appeared that his main goal was to break her bond with Holden. Claire expressed her displeasure with Kyle's combative behavior and made it apparent that she had no intention of switching tour guides. Holden and Claire's trip has been wonderful so far, but Kyle is still trying to get in the way. He disclosed that he had some meetings in Los Angeles for a few days. Kyle will have the chance to monitor Holden and obtain facts that will help change Claire's perspective. As he watches Holden argue with Sienna, Kyle will become smug. After seeing Holden in a heated argument with Sienna throughout the week of October 20th to 24th, Kyle will feel superior. Something will be clearly wrong, and Kyle will make sure Claire sees for herself that Holden is behaving stiff and hanging out with this unknown woman. Claire is well familiar with that woman, of course, having met Sienna at the nightclub she owns. Despite her misgivings about what Holden might be hiding, Claire might jump to his defense. Due to his own reservations, Kyle will continue to research Holden and come to the conclusion that Sienna would be useful to his schemes. Sienna will be confronted by Kyle and subjected to an unwanted interrogation. After witnessing Holden in a tense situation with Sienna during the week of October 20th to 24th, Kyle will feel superior. It will be obvious that something is wrong, so Kyle will make sure Claire witnesses Holden's stiffness when he is with an enigmatic woman. Naturally, Claire has already met Sienna at the nightclub she manages, so she is familiar with that woman. Despite her misgivings about what Holden might be concealing, Claire might be ready to defend him. Kyle, meanwhile, will have his own inquiries, which will lead him to carry out further research on Holden and come to the conclusion that Sienna might be useful for his plots. 1. Setting the scene. The the battleground is Los Angeles. Los Angeles is a city where ambition, dishonesty, and redemption coexist. The sun sets over its glittering skyline. The young and the restless universe spreads westward, entangling cherished characters in a new web of intrigue far from the well-known streets of Genoa City. Despite being thousands of miles away from home, Kyle Abbott, the affluent heir with a history of making snap judgments, is focused solely on regaining Claire Newman. Claire came to LA feeling a new sense of freedom after being emancipated from the mental storms of Genoa City. Her relationship with Holden Novak started out as a means of escape and swiftly developed into something more euphoric. Beneath Holden's effortless attractiveness, however, is a subtle form of manipulation meant to subdue people around him. Kyle unintentionally sets off a chain of events that will upend numerous lives when he pursues Claire to Los Angeles under the pretense of business meetings, attracting the ferocious and mysterious Sienna. In this chapter, Los Angeles is a crucible rather than just a place. Its Californian sun intensifies the heat of power dynamics, ambition, and jealousy. 2. Kyle Abbott, the helpless son. Kyle Abbott's move from Genoa City to Los Angeles is motivated by emotional distress rather than commercial savvy. Kyle is still an insecure man despite his professional demeanor and business titles. His ego has been hurt by Claire's rejection, but more significantly, it has broken his feeling of control. He is unable to understand that love cannot be negotiated or recovered via perseverance, as contrast to a hostile takeover. His hasty choice to pursue Claire across the nation is a desperate act passed off as romanticism. Kyle acts almost obsessively, but he sees himself as the romantic hero. His attempts to use guilt to get Claire to go back to him show entitlement rather than devotion. The tension is evident when he shows up without warning with flowers and hollow excuses. Claire asserts her independence by stating unequivocally that she is content with her time with Holden and does not require Kyle to dictate her decisions. However, Kyle's next move, embedding himself in LA under false pretenses, is motivated by his reluctance to accept rejection. He pretends to have business meetings with Claire and Holden, but his real goal is spying. Despite his desire to protect Claire, Kyle's true motivation is control. 3. The broken heart and growing doubts of Claire Newman. There's a lot of internal struggle in Claire's plot. Holden's charisma and confidence provide her the attention she always craved, giving her a sense of escape in their relationship. Holden's interest, however, isn't as pure as it seems. He quietly keeps Claire away from anyone who could question his intentions, since he thrives on power. Claire is initially enchanted. She is kept captivated by Holden's industry contacts, his light banter, and his invitations to LA's most exclusive events. However, something is off behind the glitz. Despite being disguised as protectiveness, Holden's possessiveness starts to show signs of weakness. And Claire's feelings are thrown into disarray once more when Kyle unexpectedly arrives in Los Angeles. She is annoyed by Kyle's demanding behavior, yet she cannot deny their shared past. Unresolved emotions like love, rage, and remorse are stirred by his presence and combine to create an explosive concoction. At first, Claire writes off Kyle's hints that Holden isn't who he seems as jealousy, but a seed of mistrust germinates. 4. Holden Novak, the entertaining trickster. The ideal example of a Los Angeles opportunist is Holden Novak, who is charming, ambitious, and dangerously clever. Although he appears to be the ideal balance of expertise and passion, his objectives are far from sincere. His slick exterior belies a cunning mind that is adept at manipulating people's emotions. Holden is interested in Claire for 2 reasons: strategic gain and personal attraction. He has access to Genoa City's business networks through Claire, especially those of Newman Media. His plans are made more difficult by his liaisons with Sienna, a nightclub owner with her own goals. Holden is both fascinating and dangerous due to his ability to combine professional dishonesty with personal charm. He does not openly manipulate Claire. He employs emotional mirroring, acknowledging her independence and sympathizing with her difficulties with Kyle before gently influencing her choices. Holden's disguise starts to come off as Kyle shows up again. His irritation is evident, particularly when Kyle's presence puts his ability to regulate Claire's emotions at jeopardy. His relationship with Sienna becomes crucial at this point, serving as both a liability and a diversion. 5. Sienna Bacall, Los Angeles' Steel Magnolia. Let us introduce Sienna Bacall, the tough, self-made nightclub boss whose world partially overlaps with Holden's. Sienna, as portrayed by Tamara Braun, embodies the unadulterated edge of Los Angeles glitz. She is intuitive, streetwise, and not hesitant to voice her opinions. She is all too familiar with Holden's type, men who make money off of charm. The first exchanges between Sienna and Holden are transactional. He is a VIP visitor and a client who infuses her club with drama and vitality. However, Sienna is aware of his games. Her senses kick in when she witnesses Holden and Kyle having a heated argument, not because she is personally invested, but rather because she can spot manipulation. One of the most dramatic scenes in the plot is when she finally confronts Kyle. Out of jealousy and half-truths, Kyle accuses her of plotting with Holden. But the dynamic is reversed by Sienna, who is uninterested and unfazed. Kyle's charges are demolished by her icy poise, and she gives him a direct warning to back off. He is not the big man here, and this is not Genoa City. For the first time, Kyle has to deal with a woman who won't be put off by his wealth or reputation. 6. October 20th to 24th, the week of Sparks Ignite. All of the major characters will collide during this crucial week. As Holden's deceit begins to come to light and Kyle's paranoia intensifies, the tension in LA rises. Kyle's surveillance increases. Kyle is determined to expose Holden, so he starts to follow him, go to the same events, and set up accidental encounters. His actions are almost obsessive, but he defends them by saying they are protecting Claire. He thinks Holden is cheating on Claire when he sees him fighting with Sienna outside her club. Claire's mixed feelings. Kyle tries to warn Claire, but she brushes him off. She doesn't think Holden is lying to her because she already knows Sienna, but Kyle's remarks stick around. When Holden becomes protective about his relationship with Sienna, the seed of doubt becomes unavoidable. Holden's web starts to become tangled. Holden's cautious exterior starts to give way under the strain. In private, Sienna confronts him about his deceptive behavior and threatens to reveal his lies if he involves her in his mess. While Kyle's insistence is annoying, it starts to make sense when Claire notices discrepancies in Holden's stories. The conflict. At her club, Kyle and Sienna have their expected altercation. Exasperated and arrogant, Kyle corners her and demands explanations. Unflinching, Sienna sheds tears on him, revealing his desperation and conceit. They spar verbally and it's electrifying. But beneath the animosity is an indisputable spark, the kind that soap opera viewers are aware may eventually turn into romance. 7. The three main themes: control, obsession, and power. Three interrelated themes, power, obsession, and control, are the foundation of this storyline. Between Holden's manipulation, Sienna's independence, and Kyle's privilege, power is continually shifting. The conflict reveals the weaknesses of each character as they strive for supremacy in their relationships. Kyle acts out of obsession. In keeping with a long-standing Abbott family trait, the inability to let go, his obsession with Claire causes him to become blind to his own actions. Holden's weapon is control. He keeps Kyle unsteady and Claire bound by subtly manipulating his emotions. However, he might fail since he underestimates Sienna, who won't play along with him. 8. Character crossroads, changing courses. Throughout this plot, all of the main characters change. The awakening of Kyle. By the time his LA struggle is over, Kyle starts to see how his behavior has damaged his relationships. He is forced to face his entitlement by Sienna's harsh realities. His path to self-awareness starts here, but it's unclear if he changes or intensifies. Claire's self-reliance. After being torn between two guys, Claire finally regains her independence. She gains the ability to take back control of her life after realizing that Holden and Kyle are both controlling her, albeit in different ways. The exposure of Holden. By interfering, Sienna exposes Holden's tactics. When his ties to additional dubious activities are revealed, his empire of dishonesty falls apart. However, his departure or demise is still up in the air, which is a defining feature of Y&R narratives. The rise of Sienna. Sienna shows up as the unexpected moral compass. She is principled rather than pure. She goes from being a supporting character to a possible series linchpin because of her strength, intelligence, and disobedience. 9. The fallout. Intertwined hearts and unresolved conflicts. Nobody escapes Los Angeles unaltered as the dust settles. The hostile chemistry between Kyle and Sienna endures. It is a slow-burning attraction that is the result of struggle. Claire is more cautious when she returns to Genoa City, since she knows that love may quickly turn into manipulation. Unrepentant but exposed, Holden vanishes into the darkness, suggesting more retaliation. LA turns into a mirror for Kyle, reflecting his worst traits and pushing him to overcome them. There is tension in his last moments with Sienna before he leaves Los Angeles. She tells him straight out that he must first gain respect from himself before he can get it from Claire or anybody else. Long after the jet home lifts off, he is still plagued by this unsettling reality. 10. Wider consequences for the universe's young and restless. The young and the restless benefits from this LA narrative since it broadens the show's emotional and geographic focus. It introduces new power players and reignites long-dormant rivalries, while fusing old Genoa City plotlines with new LA intrigue. Future alliances and rivalries that could upend the Abbott and Newman empires are made possible by Kyle's involvement with Sienna. Claire might become a leader as a result of her development, either at Newman Media or in another business setting. Because of his deceit, Holden becomes a recurrent antagonist with a city-wide impact. The plot thematically emphasizes a classic Y&R theme, that ambition and love, when combined, frequently result in disaster unless restrained by self-awareness. 11. Fan reaction and conjecture. Supporters have quickly compared Kyle and Sienna's interaction to previous Y&R rivals, such as the tense romance between Jack and Phyllis or the violent start between Victor and Nikki. Viewers wonder if Sienna, who challenges Kyle in ways Claire never could end up being his next love interest. Online debates also rage concerning Holden's actual intentions. Some speculate that he has covert connections to the Newman family or is involved in Audra Charles's plots. Even while his tactics are limited to LA, they could cause new issues in Genoa City. 12. The dramatic structure of a collision in a soap opera. The emotional complexity encased in glitz and deceit is what, at its core, makes the young and the restless so timeless. Every conflict is an identity struggle, and every flirting is a control test. The LA arc serves as an example of how Y&R skillfully incorporates interpersonal conflict into a vulnerable and ambitious narrative. The conflict between Kyle and Sienna represents the enduring conflict between privilege and grit and goes beyond a simple personal rivalry. Sienna's gained fortitude meets Kyle's innate strength. Future unrest is put in motion by these interactions, which conflate attraction and hostility. 13. Final thoughts. Lessons, love, and lies. One thing becomes clear as the plot comes to a close. Self-deception is the first step toward every character's demise. Kyle tricks himself into thinking that pursuing Claire is admirable. Claire tricks herself into believing that Holden is genuinely interested in her. Holden fools himself and everyone else into thinking he is untouchable. Despite being grounded, Sienna runs the risk of fooling herself into believing she can ignore the insanity going on around her. The story is propelled by these emotional blind spots, which turn the LA arc into a meditation on control. Who has it, who loses it, and who learns to let go. 14. Epilogue: The upcoming storm. One thing is clear as rumors of new partnerships start to circulate. Los Angeles has altered the rules. Long after the characters return to Genoa City, the events of October 20th to 24th will continue to have an impact. The real fire is what Kyle and Sienna started. A battle of wills, a dance of equals, and possibly the beginning of YNR's next big power couple. Holden's machinations may have started the first fires. Fans of the young and the restless are all too aware that rivalry-fueled passion is the most dangerous and fiery thing in the show's universe.